Hey guys, and welcome to my first part of my Kerbal Space Program series, Mission 1. We're going to start off with a science tab here, a science world, because my career mode, I don't know how to manage my money, and sandbox is just for fun. So we're going to do this. It's a bit more serious and not too hard, and I like playing science mode. So Kerbal Space, and we're going to call it Mission 1. There we go. So this is the first gaming video on the channel. I'm actually pretty excited. Okay, here we go. Welcome to this. Yes, I've already known this. So I've played this game for a while now. I think I have like 130 hours on it. But my progress isn't absolutely amazing, so although I am not a complete noob, I am not a professional either. And for this Mission 1, it's getting to all the planets. I need to get to every single planet and their moon, which would be difficult because Jewel, right over here, if we zoom out, and we lock onto Jewel here, here, we can see that it has a ton of moons, which would be really annoying to get to. But that is the goal of this mission. I don't know how long this series will take, but it'll be just a Kerbal Space Program series. Nothing too special. So let's. Oh Jesus! Oh wow, that was a weird bit of lag. So the idea of science mode is you go into this tree, and you have science up here, and you collect science by doing experiments and stuff like that. So for example, while you're flying, you can take a crew report, and that'll give you science. And with science, you can unlock new parts until you get to the very end of the line. And I've never gotten to the end of the line. I don't think I've gotten past this tree, this tree here. And yes, that's something we need to take care of, and also a relay, geostationary relay is pretty important. But for now, what we're going to try and do is, in this episode, I think is what we're going to try and do is our goal is to get into orbit as fast as possible. Let's hope we can do that. So I think we're going to just, I think for most of these build processes, we're going to skip straight through, but because this one's super short, we might as well just not skip straight through. So the idea is that you have to get as much science as possible. So we'll have to keep going back and forth because you can even get science from the launch pad over there. So if we can get that, so first what we do is we get that science, and then we go over to, we're gonna call this Mark 1 and save it. The idea is that as soon as you get science from one part, you won't be able to get that science because you already know that. Technically, you already have that knowledge. So we're going to observe the mystery goo while it's not doing anything. We're going to take a crew report, and we're going to take an EVA. So we have to take an EVA report and a surface sample and board it, because then we have all the launch pad science. And what we can do now is we can recover the vessel, and we gather all that science up here, as you'll see now. And there we go. 20 science we got from that. Now we go over to the space plane hangar, because it also has a launch pad technically, and we gather the information off of that as well. So let's do this, let's add this on the back, and I think that's all the science we can get. So then we just do, actually we don't want to save this, so, just it's not important at all. Here we go. Now we'll take the observe mystery goo, there we go, from the space, let's EVA report and take a surface sample, and there we go. Now we can board, crew report. There we go. Now we have to recover the vessel. Okay, and 36 science already. So But before we go on to collect, to start buying stuff, we need to use as much as we can out of the parts that we currently have. So, we're going to rebuild, actually no, we have already loaded, don't save. Mark 1, there we go. And we can launch this. And what we're going to do is we're going to launch, and we're going to land on land, and then we're going to launch again and land in water. And we're going to get different surface sample things from that. So, let's fix up our staging over here, and launch. We have to launch this way, because we want to land on this grass over here, somewhere here at least. There we go. So, we just do this while we're flying. Cool. And do this while we're flying. Cool. We won't EVA because I would fall off the ship. But for now, we're just gonna keep going, and now we're gonna start falling. I like taking away the head and just watching this happen. It's like a little missile, but instead of destroying it, we wanna, you know, completely save it and stuff like that. Here we go. Oh, looks like we're gonna land in the water. Okay, well then, I guess the next one will be landing on land then. So, although this doesn't abide to physics and this doesn't really make sense because it's going through the ship, the parachute is deployed, and it's not from its butt, it's from the top here. This is the parachute thing. Here we go. If you can see up here, this is the signal strength, and the thing is, the signal strength is important because when we start launching probes, we will need to be able to communicate with the space center. So you need certain amount of signal strength when you're trying to transfer data over, because you're not trying to bring a probe back to Earth. That's not the idea. You put a probe out there and you leave it there. And right now we're just landing in the water. I keep looking to the left of me because I usually have my my Mac there for when I'm streaming so that I can look at the chat. But no, it doesn't. It's not happening. Okay. Now we can recover this. Oh no. First, we have to EVA. And take an EVA report above the water and then take a surface sample. There we go. Now we can board this and recover the vessel. Then what we can do is we can, okay, 63 science. I don't really think we need this science over here. It's not that important, we can get it later. So, what we're going to try and do is we're going to research some new stuff. We're going to take both of these. They help us gather some, this one for example helps us gather science because here we have a thermometer, and this one helps us launch into the air better. Now this is where decisiveness has to come in, because you have to choose which path you want to go. And personally, I don't like planes, so stability wouldn't be the greatest for me. Although radial, yeah, no, I want radial decouplers, because for rockets, it's very important. Survivability is extremely important because if we want to re-enter from orbit, we need to be able to have a heat shield so that it can take the brunt of the heat. Although, technically we do have enough science to take this, but we don't have enough. Oh, we don't have enough for any of these. So I see no point in. Yeah, no, let's just take this then. Okay, we took all three. Didn't really matter. All that discussion didn't really matter. Okay. Now we're back and we can... Okay, it is time to launch. Here we have some boosters, an engine, some fuel, and 3 different science modules that we can use while we're up in space. I'm hoping that this will get up in space. I don't think it'll get up in orbit. We might be lucky, though. So then, let's turn on our SAS and launch. Okay, it's pretty stable. I like that. It's always important to have your stability good. Let's see. This will get pretty high up. No, get lower. No, stop what you're doing. Stop turning like that. Well, I guess we're going south. I don't know why we're doing this. I mean, it won't really matter in the end, because we just need to get up into space. It's not like we're getting into an orbit, really, like an orbit. Okay. We're getting, oh wow, we're getting actually pretty high. Oh. Yeah, here, this is what we want, There we go. And let's launch like this. There we go. This fuel won't help out at all, but we will get into space, which is important. Let's try and get a flat sort of curve so that we don't go back into the atmosphere with too much of a bang. And there we go. We can decouple this. How's our orbit? Ooh, that's a sharp incline. That's not good. Okay, that's okay. We just need to observe this. Yep. Log the pressure data. Log the temperature. Okay. And then what we do is we take a crew report. EVA. And take an EVA report. And then what we do is we let go. We use our RCS to go around and collect all of this science, because it's unlikely that we will blow up in the atmosphere, but it's you know, it's more likely that these modules might blow up in the atmosphere, might burn up. Take the data, okay, and take the data from all of these. There we go. See now. Now we get back in, and we have all of it stored in our module. And grab it, and board it. There we go. Now we turn off our SAS to save electricity, and we go around our orbit here. Well, it's not really an orbit, just our curve, you could say. There we go. How far are we? 96. Okay. Up. We don't need RCS, but we do need this. Okay, we're falling back down. 70 is when space, like, sort of stops. 70 kilometers on Kerbal. So around there, you'll hear the music stop. Oh, see, music stopped. And we are re-entering into the atmosphere. This red here means that it's heating up. Means that the parachute is heating up. This is not a problem because it is protected by the heat shield, as we can see here. And the legs are going to blow up, yeah. So there's the legs. So that's one leg. And 2 others. Well, we are landing in the water, so it doesn't really matter. So, yeah. The stuff behind us, our engines are blowing up now. Okay. So, safe landing, which is good. But we are landing in the water, which is not so good because that means that we can't get any new science from taking a surface sample. There we go. And we're going to land back on the planet. Okay, now we're just time warping through the, now we're just time warping all the way down. As you can see, our third parachute opened, and we are ready to land in the water, safe and sound, with our first mission complete. Well, our second mission technically complete. We haven't gone to every single moon and planet yet, but eventually we will. And I think that the next episode we'll get into orbit, and the episode after that we might even get to the moon, if we get a probe that can go there. Because returning, I don't think we have enough fuel to do that. Here we are. Now we recover the vessel. Okay, here we go. Well, we now have 51 science. We will use it real quick on one of these. We do not need aviation. As I said before, we do not need planes for now. A small inline reaction wheel is very, very handy when you're doing probes like this, because this one does not have an SAS. So, what I think right now needs to be done is we will get this... we will get this, and we'll be able to get into orbit next episode. So, I'm going to leave this episode here. I hope you guys liked watching, and I'll see you on Saturday with the next episode of Mission 1.